Hello to all of my viewers. I am making this video to prove once and for all that Michael Jackson's kids, Prince, Paris, and Blanket are biologically his. A lot of people believe that Michael Jackson did not like being black. They felt like he did not like black women. But contrary to this belief, Michael Jackson was madly in love with Diana Ross. He dated Stephanie Mills, and he featured a lot of predominantly beautiful black women as the lead love interest in his music videos. But as everyone knows, Michael Jackson was a man of love. He did not discriminate, so he settled down with Lisa Marie Presley. They divorced because Lisa Marie Presley was not ready to bear his child, and as you know, Michael Jackson desperately wanted children of his own, so he ended up impregnating his longtime nurse, Debbie Rowe. Debbie Rowe is the mother of both of his children, Prince and Paris, and here's how that story happened.
October, it was announced that Debbie Rowe was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I knew that it was a bit of a retaliatory act on his part, because I didn't, have a baby, and I know that she was there the whole time, telling him she would do it. So
you knew that?
He would tell me. He would come tell me, if you're not going to do it, Debbie said she'll do it. And I was like, what is that? Hi. Not going to entice me. So we would get into it, arguments, because that really wasn't how to handle it. But that's how he knew how to handle it. I don't want to say, he like I said, he would be like, well, if you're not going to, this person will. Are you going to do it or not?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what you mean by disposable.
yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Oh, I get it. Well,
yeah.
there are not many men who would say, you either have a baby for me or I got somebody standing in the wings.
Right, and it sounds, hindsight 2020. I understand him so well now. But at that time, I didn't. I was hurt. And, I did things that hurt him, and I did stupid things too.
Here is what the fuss is about. A lot of people were shocked when the kids were revealed. They could not understand how could Michael Jackson, a black man, produce predominantly white-looking children. A lot of people do not realize that not every mixed child comes out looking the same. Some mixed children look like a completely different race altogether. Not every mixed child comes out with tan skin, curly hair, hazel eyes. There's a term that's been going around for ages, and it is called white passing. And that is when a child who is mixed comes out looking fully white. And here are some videos to further explain.
I was living in Oakland, California. This guy got on the train, and he wanted to squeeze into my seat with me. And I was like, ugh. And I got up and I moved. He turned and he was like, you white bitch. And I was like, dude, I'm not white. I took umbrage at him not calling me a bitch. I was mad because he called me white. My father is black from West Virginia, and my mother was white and from New Jersey. People typically think that I am a Latina.
I can have all the loving relationships with the black side of my family that I want. When I walk out in the world, I look like this. I think as mixed race people, we still face a lot of pressure from other people who are not comfortable with our identity.
It was an eye-opener to me because I realized the depth of my mother's story of passing. She went from living in New Orleans as a woman of color and then had to make this tremendous shift in her identity to move north and marry my father and live as a white woman. She had to give up family. She had to give up her authentic self, who she really was.
Freddie Washington was known as the girl with the boy's name, the black girl with the green eyes, the black girl who looked white. The black audience really did pick up on the thing that she wanted white opportunities, and that they could understand and connect to. But the audience could not accept her rejection of her mother, and in essence, her rejection of her culture.
What can I do for you?
Viola. Why, Viola, child. I'm your mammy. Why, that's ridiculous. I never saw you before in my life.
What's the meaning of this?
This woman doesn't know what she's talking about.
But as it grew, the curls started, the curls were still coming, but as it kept growing straight. So I was like, whoa, okay, what's going on? So now her hair is curly at the end, but straight at the top. How? I don't know. So if you guys don't know, she is mixed. She's mixed with white and black.
Her own way. Haley is also biracial.
When I was 5, my mom told me I was part black and part white.
The fact that she was biracial made it important for me to put her in a school that was well balanced. And I wanted her to live in an environment that was going to be helpful to her and make her feel good about who she was.
Haley goes to a diverse school, but she feels rejected by both black and white children.
White kids say I'm not black, and black kids say I'm not white.
Tutorial because I am not a professional, but I'm just showing you what I do with my girl's hair.
People ask me this all the time. So here I am again to clear it up one more time. I am mixed with black and white. Question number 2. What ethnicity are you often mistaken for? Majority of the time, people think I'm like fully white. People thought that I was Puerto Rican before. I don't see that. But
strong, because you're not about to attack my daughter. That's what you're not going to do, is attack an innocent child, okay? All right. People are saying she has white people hair or whatever the case is, and it's like, she doesn't have any curls. How is she mixed but she doesn't have any curls, or whatever the case is?
How are you black? They look at me with those skeptical eyes as I try to solidify what I refuse to deny, and then explain the chocolate milk theory, or once you put a drop of chocolate in the white milk, it's no longer white, but it's nowhere near chocolate. Yes, both of my mother's parents are black. Yes, both of my grandparents' parents are black too. Have none of you heard the term Great American Melting Pot? Because I can assure you that I am one of a lot. You know what? I'm tired of explaining just who I am to people who won't listen, people that have no vision that the world might actually contain a black person that looks white. Why?
I'm sure there's going to be people that comment on this video and tell me that I don't have mixed girl hair, that I have white girl hair, or whatever. Just leave me alone with those kind of comments, please. So let's talk about mixed people hair. For the record, being mixed with black and white, my hair isn't as mixed as other mixed people are out there, but it is still mixed, so.
Or what they should do. Some of your kids have similar hair textures to Maddie, which makes me feel good because, like I've mentioned before, her hair is very unique. It's not like your typical curly or, kinky hair texture or whatnot. So, we've just been doing what works for us and, just trying to still get used to her hair texture because, like I mentioned in the one video where I was talking about, us having different hair textures, there are just some things that I cannot do.
While we're on the subject of hair, Michael Jackson's kids did not come out with blonde hair, contrary to belief. Prince and Paris came out with brown hair, and Blanket came out with black hair. And since we're on the subject of Blanket, I have noticed that people are way open-minded when it comes to Blanket being Michael Jackson's biological son. And I think part of that is because out of all the children, Blanket looks the most like Michael Jackson, especially the young Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5 that we all fell in love with. And he's darker in skin tone than his older siblings, Paris and Prince. It's also really hard to pinpoint his racial background. You can't really tell, but you just know he's mixed with something. So, the person to me who receives the most criticism is Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's only daughter. And I believe part of that is because in comparison to Blanket, her skin is a lot lighter. As she's gotten older, she's dyed her hair blonde and straight. But when she was younger, her hair was definitely brown. And it definitely was a lot curlier. When compared to her father, many people would say, do not compare her to him when he had vitiligo. Do not compare her to him before his surgery. As if that really, really makes a difference. Paris Jackson has many of her father's features as far as his mouth. She has his same lips, his same teeth, his same chin, his same bone structure. Rather, if it was his Jackson 5 days or his off the wall days, you can still compare Paris Jackson to her father and piece it together. Another thing I've noticed is they have the exact same dental makeup. They both had a high tooth in the same exact spot and was later placed in the correct spot. But like I say, if you take a Paris Jackson picture and split it down the middle along with a Michael Jackson picture and split it down the middle, they fit together like a puzzle piece. Paris Jackson also resembles Michael Jackson's grandmother, Crystal King. If you take a Crystal King picture down the middle and pair it with a Paris Jackson picture stripped down the middle, they also fit like a puzzle piece. And the same goes for her and her half-brother, mind you, same dad, different moms, BG, aka Blanket.
When did I first feel beautiful?
Their teeth, their jawline, their lips
Whenever
all
someone tells
align
me
perfectly.
I look like or remind them of my father.
Another complaint that I've noticed is that people wonder about her eyes, but her grandfather had green eyes. Her mother has blue eyes. She has a cousin named Aurora with blue eyes. She has a cousin named Jonathan with green eyes. So her eyes may be hereditary. There are multiple black people in her family with green eyes. Here's her cousin Summer. This is Marlon Jackson's granddaughter. And her uncle, Jackie Jackson, his son, came out with blue eyes. They also speculate about her skin tone, but here's a picture of her and Sophia Richie, and they definitely look the same. Here's her and her aunt Latoya. But once again, as I said, with her father, you can see the jawline, the lips, and of course their teeth. Moving along to her older brother, Prince Jackson. As I stated before, contrary to belief, Prince Jackson was not born with blonde hair and blue eyes. He was born with brown eyes and brown hair. Prince Jackson, to me, has a tint. He looks like he could be Hispanic. A fan used a feminine face app on him, and he definitely looks like a Hispanic woman in this little face app. But as I said, I would not compare his facial features to his father, Michael Jackson. Instead, I would compare them to his great-grandfather, Michael Jackson's grandfather, aka Joe Jackson's dad, Samuel Jackson. They had the same head shape, same lips, same nose, same bone structure, same eyes. If you split their pictures down the middle and pair it together, they fit like a puzzle piece. Look at the lips, look at the nose, look at the eyes, look at the head shape. Here's him and his uncle Marlon Jackson. You can see that they have the exact same eyes. Once again, if you compare him to his grandfather, Joe Jackson, they even have the same smile. The resemblance is uncanny. Here's him and his half-brother, same dad, different mom, BG Jackson, aka Blanket. Also, what I want to note is Michael Jackson suffered with a skin disorder called vitiligo. Vitiligo is a skin disorder that messes with your pigmentation. It is hereditary. It can be passed down throughout families, and he suffered with that disease throughout his entire career. He used to try to hide it with makeup. That's why he wore the famous gloves, the famous sparkly jackets, face mask, and he also shielded himself from the sun. That's why he always had umbrellas out while it was sunny. Michael Jackson suffered with this disease throughout his career. As I said, they taunted him and honestly didn't even believe he had the disease until the autopsy report came out after he passed. With all of that stated, his son, his biological son, Prince Jackson, also has vitiligo, the hereditary disease that can be passed down to family members. You can spot it under his arm, on his fingers, on his chest, just like his father. So these are the exact reasons that I personally believe these children are biologically Michael Jackson's kids. Please feel free to state your opinion in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching.